Hi, my name is Tessmann, and today I'm going to show you how I mount my engine and set the gear mesh in my 1/8 scale cars. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is probably one of the most important things, is clean the screws off. Because they come with a coating so they don't rust from the factory, but that coating also can affect how the Loctite sticks. So I'm going to go through and clean each one of them with motor spray. You can see all that black crap coming off of there? That's a good sign. That means your screw's coming clean. I'll go make another patch over here. Pinch it between there, turn it a couple times. And you see all that stuff. Makes like a little imprint of the screw in the rag. Okay, so the second thing I'm going to do is do the same to the engine mount, but I'm going to use a pipe cleaner this time. Spray it with some spray, and then I'm going to run it through where the holes are. Just so that you make sure there's no coatings or no oils or anything left in there to affect the Loctite from sticking. You should be doing this with every kind of metal to metal, wherever you're screwing a screw into metal, whether it be aluminum or steel, in any situation, but for the engine mount it's just that much more important. So then, what I'm going to do now is take the top screws and I'm going to put the engine mount onto the engine first. I'm going to put some screw glue in these holes with the little tip, kind of work it around there, wipe off the excess, do that to both. Put a little bit in there, and then I'll put the engine mount onto the engine. And I'll get the screws started. I'm not going to put one tight, I'm going to get both started before I tighten them down. They're both going. And then I can go back and forth and tighten them down. The reason I do that is just because there's some play in here, so you want to make sure everything's lined up. They make the holes in the engine slightly bigger than the screws, so they can fit all kinds of different cars. So you don't want to have your screw tightened down and then the other hole not line up. So I just make sure they're both started before I tighten it down. I'm going to use a ball end because the heads most heads are in the way, so you use a ball end so you don't strip the screw out. So once that's done, I'm going to go and put Loctite in the holes for the bottom. And I like to do it this way because it saves time of taking the screw back out when you're doing the engine and gear mesh. So once you put the screw in, you make it tight and then it's done. So take the car over here, put the engine in. So I'm not going to hook anything up yet, I'm going to do the gear mesh first. And then I'm going to use a straight ball end or a straight end 2.5. Make sure the screw doesn't, because these ones are very tight, you want to make sure you have a good solid screwdriver in there. So line up the holes. And again, I'm going to get all 4 of these started before I tighten anything down. And I can feel it kind of get snug. I'll back it off just so it is just off tight, so I can slide my engine around still, but yet it holds it mostly in place. So as you can see, maybe a little bit looser. I'll show you move back and forth. So the engine moves back and forth, I can feel it. So then I'll get it kind of what I can feel from just out there, feel if it's close or not. See, there's no play there. That's not good. You want some play in these. A little bit more play. Just back it off a little bit more. So you hear that little knock. I don't know if you can see that very good. I'm holding the clutch pedal with my finger, the other hand, and just knock this. You hear that little knock, just a very little bit of movement. And then what also I'll do is just give the car a spin. If it makes a horrible grinding noise, that means something's not right. So go back and check either the engine's not straight or the mesh is not right all the way around. Also spin the clutch bell or the flywheel over, or the spur gear, sorry, and make sure it's the same on all sides. Sometimes you can have a spur gear, especially in 10 scale with the plastic gears. The spur gear is not completely round, so it can be different side to side. So now that I have that good, I'm going to go around and tighten these down. Make sure they're nice and tight. You don't want your engine coming loose. And then this way, like I said before, when I put the Loctite in, now I don't have to go back and take each screw out again and re-Loctite it. So then once I have them all tight again, I'm going to recheck the gear mesh, make sure nothing moved when I did that. You still feel it's the same, give it a spin, do it again, and then go one final time, make sure the drive line is free and tight and good. Okay, so now I've hooked up the fuel lines, the carburetor pull, and the header springs. So now the engine's completely in and ready to go. Something worth mentioning is when you have new spur gear and new clutch bell, once you set the gear mesh for the first time and you run it and it wears together and it meshes together, you will need to readjust the gear mesh because they do wear a little bit and you'll have to adjust it probably tighter. So that's something to keep an eye on. Don't just set your gear mesh for the first time and just leave it and expect it to be good. And even if you have older stuff and it's not going to wear in much further than it is, just have that as one of your checklist stuff to look through before you go into a race or before a main event. Make sure the gear mesh hasn't changed or nothing has come loose on your engine. It's just something that's going to make your cars last, or your stuff last longer and have more fun. And then if you do for some reason have a failure of any sort, whether it be a rock getting in or something coming loose and one of the two gears gets damaged, make sure you replace both of them, because if you don't replace both, you're going to have the one that's used that was in there before, it's going to destroy the new one. So you're going to be costing yourself more because you're going to keep putting one in at a time, and it's just going to go through them faster than if you would just replace both at once and kind of restart the life of both of them and let them mesh together. So that's something we've learned over the years that's really helped us, helped the gears last longer and be more successful. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.